Hello guys, this video is directed to students who are doing IGCSE or AS or A-level, even more AP or IB. This is included on many of the syllabuses. So let's start directly graphing quadratic functions. This function is the parabola. It's called the parent function. So this function is the parent function. The graph of this function is very easy. You have x-axis and y-axis. So that's the graph. Now, what's going to happen to the function if you add a minus sign in front of the function? For example, fx is equal to negative x squared. In this case, the function will be reflected in the x-axis. So the graph would seem like this. Okay, now what's going to happen if you add 1 to the parent function? For example, fx is equal to x squared plus 1. In this case, the original function or the parent function will be translated 1 unit up. So it would be like this. Okay, now what's going to happen to the original function if you subtract 1 from the parent function? So fx is equal to x squared minus 1. In this case, the original function will be shifted 1 unit down. It would seem like this. Now, what about if you now you want to translate it to the right or left? What do you do? So for example, let's take this function. Fx is equal to x plus 2 squared. In this case, because of this plus, the function is going to be translated 2 units to the left. So let's see. So the function would seem like this. You have 2 units to the left, then you draw the function here. Now, what about if you have a minus sign? Let's say fx is equal to x minus 3 squared. In this case, the function would be translated to the right, 3 units to the right, which means it would be like this. Now, what about if you combine the vertical and horizontal translation? So, for example, fx is equal to x plus 1 squared minus 3. In this case, you have 2 transformations. You have horizontal and vertical translations. 1 unit to the left and 3 units down. And then the function would be like this. Of course, you call this point here, you call it the vertex. In this case, the vertex is -1, -3. And this line here, we call it line of symmetry. It's x equal -1. Now, what about if you don't have it in this form? For example, fx is equal to x squared plus 6x plus 7. So how do you graph it in this case? In this case, you have to write it in the perfect square form, or sometimes you call it canonical form. So fx is equal to x squared plus 6x plus, I'm gonna take now half of this number and square it, which means 3 squared. And then I will subtract 3 squared in order not to change the main equation of the function, and then plus 7. Now from here you can now write it in this form. Fx is equal to x plus 3 squared minus 9 plus 7 fx. Of course, here we have used the equation or the identity a plus b squared is a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. To move from this step to this step. Now we can write it x plus 3 squared minus 2. Now we graph it. X-axis and y-axis. You have to take it 3 units to the left and 2 units down. 1, 2, 3. Then 1, 2. So here is the vertex. And now you graph it like this. So in this case, the vertex will be -3, -2. And the line of symmetry would be x equal -3. Thank you.